Hello, welcome to the Journeys with Jana channel. I am Jana, here to host you through another video this week. In this week's video, I wanted to share with you why Yoga Nidra, why this particular style of meditation, why this meditation can work for you, and a couple of the benefits of Yoga Nidra. So go ahead and stick around. I'll post this video and many more on why this particular meditation style is super beneficial for you. So what is Yoga Nidra? Yoga Nidra is a guided meditation where the practitioner rotates the awareness of consciousness throughout the body by following the voice of the guide. Meaning, as I speak, as I, the guide, call out particular body parts of the body and through a Yoga Nidra practice, you aren't necessarily moving those body parts or needing to look at or even think about. You're just bringing your awareness there. So you're lying on the back, your eyes are closed, and you bring your awareness to the hand or to the arm. You don't have to move your hand or move your arm, but you are circulating your awareness of consciousness through the body. So Yoga Nidra gives a busy mind something to do, letting the brain take control. So with a traditional meditation practice, if you are not in the right frame of mind when you sit down to meditate in your cross-legged position, eyes closed, quiet and still, if you're not in the right frame of mind for the meditation, then any stress or any heightened emotion that's going on in the brain or in the body will become magnified during that moment of stillness. So as you're trying to sit and still and quiet the mind and meditate, the things that haven't been processed yet out of the body and out of the mind will magnify. This is the body and the subconscious way of showing you, hey, this is something that I need you to pay attention to. Oftentimes we're too busy to pay attention to the mind. So when we get settled and when we get quiet is when the mind gets loud and it speaks. If you have a lot going on in your life, like I said, if you have heightened emotions or stress or you're moving through extreme trauma or a healing journey, then any of those emotions that you are experiencing will become very heightened in a traditional meditative state. Oftentimes this becomes almost too much for the brain to work through. It's almost too much for you to sit there and, okay, let this thought complete itself and then bring the mind back to stillness. Let the next thought complete itself, bring the mind back to stillness. Because sometimes the thoughts and the emotions will come through the brain in rapid fire. And it gets overwhelming real quick. Then it leaves you with that sense of why meditate doesn't work. I hear that all the time as a meditation guide. I don't meditate because meditation doesn't work. When I sit down, my mind won't be quiet. That's exactly right. You haven't trained the mind yet. Yoga Nidra helps you to train the mind. And receptivity for what you want to call into your life. A space of peaceful state of mind. Being open to what spirit will bring forth to you, to the messages that will come through, to the visualizations that you'll see. When you sit down in that traditional meditative practice and you have all of those overwhelming and chronic stressors going on, those things just become bigger and bigger, and it makes it hard to meditate. In Yoga Nidra, one of my biggest Yoga Nidra personal testimonies is when I was in extreme burnout, could not get off of the floor. I turned on my Yoga Nidra. And my brain, even in that sense of extreme overwhelm and burnout, I could still follow along to call out those various spaces of my body. And I kid you not, within 10 days, I not only was off of the floor, that sense of burnout that I had experienced several times in years prior that would take me months to recover from, here I was recovering in less than 10 days. I also was able to make very big life decision that I needed to make comfortably and confidently. and I was able to move through my everyday life with ease. The situation that caused the burnout was still there. I still needed to do some internal work. I still needed to shift some things in my external life, but I at least was able to show up for it. I was able to show up in a cool, calm, and collected way without the fear and the chronic stress and just letting it go because I was able to tap into my body and leave the mind. So that's a huge, huge, huge benefit. That's one of the best benefits of Yoga Nidra. Leaving the mind, getting into the body. Another benefit to Yoga Nidra is it helps the practitioner develop a state of inner awareness, which allows you to observe without judgment what the needs of the mind and body are, rather than trying to listen to your internal dialogue. So Yoga Nidra is a huge practice, very compelling practice in mindfulness. Mindfulness of yourself and mindfulness of others. When you have a consistent practice of Yoga Nidra, you slowly become more aware of how you relate to the world around you, how you're showing up for your friends and family or your work, how you're showing up online, or maybe even on the road. You develop elements of acceptance for yourself and for others, which leads you to take things less personally, and you become more aware of yourself and others, which leads you to understand and have a better understanding or even a desire to understand. Sometimes it's really important to understand the why people do certain things. Sometimes people do things that can be very upsetting. Sometimes we ourselves can do things that can be very upsetting. But that why, the why can sometimes matter. And through this practice, you get to a state of going, oh, okay, that person was just a total asshole to me, but I wonder why. I wonder what's going on. It at least causes you to give some awareness to them and their situation rather than retaliating or reacting right back at them. And through this mindfulness practice of taking things less personally, being more aware of yourself and others around you, you feel happier. You feel more at ease with life. You leave behind huge weights and burdens of stress and overwhelm that you do not need to carry around or get stuck in. And all of those emotions that follow underneath those umbrellas of the stressors. You don't need to carry those heavy emotions around with you. Those emotions and those experiences are here to teach you lessons. With the practice of Yoga Nidra, you come in to learn the lesson and then, okay, great, now let me shift out of it. I don't need to hold on to this stress. This doesn't have to be my life. Yoga Nidra helps you to be aware of that and own it. Own the things within your life that could be adjusted, which is huge. It's huge for all of us. One reason that Yoga Nidra helps so much with the mindfulness is it does this by slowing down the brain waves, which when you're awake and conscious, those brain waves are rapid fire. They are moving so fast. I once read that women can have up to 200 thoughts a minute. That's a lot of thoughts. That is a lot of thoughts. So if you can have a practice that can slow those brain waves down a smidge so that your thoughts aren't so overwhelming and doesn't lead you to chronic overthinking mode, what a great practice to have in your back pocket. More mindful when the nervous system is regulated. Often people, when in a dysregulated nervous system, they aren't mindful because they're in fight, flight, or freeze. And it's not that you or any other person is a bad person. It's just that the nervous system is preventing you from moving forward. So, within that mindfulness practice, you also are repairing the nervous system, calming the body, calming the mind, getting into that state of mindfulness, to be in a place of mindfulness being your natural state of being rather than another thought that you need to think about. Another way in which you need to think to show up for, When you practice Yoga Nidra, you're leaving the brain more and more often. You're leaving those states of fear and dropping down into the body, which holds states of love. That energy of worry or stress or overwhelm or anxiety or insecurity or fill in the blank. You're no longer vibrating within that insecurity. You are vibrating now with confidence, clarity, peace, ease. And it changes not only you and your life, but it changes that of everyone around you. It has a ripple effect through your immediate circle and the circles and communities and beyond. Meditation has a powerful, powerful ripple effect within your life. Getting into a right frame of mind. That's just why it's a good practice. We haven't even gotten to all of the benefits yet. and the benefits will make a little bit more sense too. So I want to go over 2 main benefits today in this video. The first huge benefit with Yoga Nidra is it boosts your baseline dopamine. And scientists are recently studying this type of meditation and identifying that the baseline dopamine in some patients has increased by up to 65%, which is huge. That's huge, y'all. Your baseline dopamine, if you aren't fully aware, and I'm gonna explain this we're gonna have a full video on just dopamine boost itself, but your baseline dopamine is your basic needs being met: food, water, shelter, provisions, etc. Fill in the blank. For many of us around the world, those baseline needs that we need to be met come through a very stressful experience. Maybe you work long hours. Maybe you're like many Americans and you're overworked and underpaid. Maybe you are like some other countries that I have lived in, where you live day to day. And so you make money on Monday, you have no money on Tuesday, but you got to work on Tuesday to make money for Wednesday, right? There are all types of ways in which this can go. Maybe you live in a place that the water isn't clean and you have to buy bottled water, or maybe shelter and your homing situation is in turmoil. I have experienced each one of these in various phases of my life, and every single one is so unbelievably dysregulating to your system, your mind, and your body. So when those basic needs are being met through stress, through fear, through anxiety, then your dopamine levels are low. So low that you feel unmotivated, uninterested, lack of desire to exercise or move, lack of desire to take care of yourself in the way in which that you need to, because you've just done all of your energy just to get clean water or food or make sure that you have a roof over your head next week. So for Yoga Nidra, boosting the dopamine in the brain and naturally doing this, it allows you to have less overwhelm in the brain to begin getting creative, to create less stress in your life. Boosting the dopamine in the brain doesn't alleviate the external stressors. It doesn't change the world around you immediately, but it does slowly open the door for that change. It does slowly open the door to, let's use, for example, your job. Maybe your place of employment or what you do for money that then purchases all the other needs. Maybe this environment is extremely stressful. Potentially you work long hours. Maybe you don't get a lot of breaks. Maybe you're on your feet. Fill in the blanks of why it's difficult for you. The motivation or the energy to go out and look for another job, to go out and maybe start your own thing. Maybe you've been wanting to start your own thing, right? But so once you get that baseline dopamine boosted at least one level, then you feel so much more confident to go into all the areas of life. And we'll go further into this in another video. But that's just one of the first huge benefits of Yoga Nidra, is just boosting that baseline dopamine and dramatically shifting your perspective on your life. The second major benefit to a Yoga Nidra practice is it calms the nervous system. As I was mentioning earlier, balancing the body and the mind. Your nervous system, we move through these in fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And all of these have, we'll go into this again in another video, of varying degrees of the nervous system. But societal or environmental tensions that may be in your area or someone that you know, tumultuous relationship dynamics, whether it's with family or friends or, again, your work community, and the processed foods and sugars. That's huge. All of this is big around the world. All of these are issues, global issues, that have caused us to become dysregulated in the nervous system. And one of the ways that I can give you a dysregulated nervous system is a nice example of how things haven't changed for us in the tens of thousands of years that humans have been on the planet, is our DNA. When one lives in a heightened state of stress and those chronic stressful times for so long, it will alter your DNA and your brain chemistry, causing all kinds of diseases in the body. One thing in our brain that hasn't altered is that fight and flight, is that nervous system dysregulation and regulation. The nervous system is a great thing. It's there to show us. All of our emotions are great. Even fear, worry, anxiety, they're okay. They're okay to have. But when you live chronically in those states, that is unhealthy. One example that I can give you of why fear is a healthy emotion is in our caveman days when we lived outside, and even past that, as long as we lived outside, there were external factors of danger. The nervous system, the body would sense a danger. Something around me is not right. I can feel it in the energy. I can feel it in the clouds. I can see it in the air, whatever it is. And then that elicits that fight or flight, that awareness in the body. Okay, be on the lookout. Something's not quite right. Okay, look over that hill. There's a mountain lion coming over the hill. That's where I was feeling the dysregulation. I was sensing it. I was sensing the fear. My body started getting fear. Here's a mountain lion. I'm lunch. The mountain lion's coming towards me. Go run. Your nervous system has not changed whatsoever, in the sense that when you're sitting at your office, in your desk chair, in the air conditioning, and your boss who you don't get along with, who causes a lot of issues, or that coworker that causes a lot of issues comes into your office, the same fight or flight is initiated in the body. Your DNA, your body, your system does not know that the coworker that gives you anxiety isn't a mountain lion trying to eat you for lunch. It doesn't know. It has no idea. So you then have to sit there and calm yourself down and talk to yourself. No, it's okay. It's just Bob walking in again. I'm not really a big fan of this guy. It causes me a lot of stress, always giving me extra work. That's just him walking in. That's not a mountain lion trying to eat me. But the body doesn't know that. So when we learn to regulate the nervous system, you can sense Bob coming down the hall and immediately start your breathwork practices. You're calming the body down to then say, hey, that's okay. It's not the mountain lion. It's just Bob. We can handle him. We can handle this stressor. We can also say no, right? Or whatever needs to happen. You can stand in your own gap. But that's a huge, huge benefit to Yoga Nidra. Regulating the nervous system, so where you do not live in those chronic states of heightened awareness. You don't deserve to live there. That's crazy. I've lived in it. It's painful. It hurts the body. It causes disease in the body and the mind. It causes so many problems to live in a dysregulated nervous system. So, regulating the nervous system, number 2, major benefit to practicing Yoga Nidra. And for me, if there's a practice that can help me regulate that system, that gets me out of the fight or flight and gets me into a comfortable zone, into confidence, into peace, into ease, I'm going for it. Sign me up, take my money. So this is one of the reasons why, or several of the reasons why, a Yoga Nidra practice is very, very beneficial for you. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned some things. If you have any questions, please definitely leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know how you resonated or what you thought about this. And I'd also love for you to check out my other videos. I'm going to be posting more, so depending on when you're watching or listening to this, I'll be posting more videos about focusing in on each benefit of Yoga Nidra over time so that it lands with you a little bit more. So if you liked this and you resonated, please check out the meditations that I have on the channel. Please subscribe and join me on this channel. I'd love to welcome you into the community. And as I'm recording this in the spring of 2025, through the spring and summer, I am offering a customized personal Yoga Nidra practice. It's an hour-long meditation specifically for you. So if you're moving through one of these heightened states of awareness, if you've got the fight or flight happening or even the freeze, if you are anything that is very heavy through your healing journey right now, even if it's a surgery or moving through a healing of the body, healing of the mind, you're welcome to message me and I will channel in a message, a Yoga Nidra for you, record it and send it to you. It will be specifically for you. You can also go on my website, www.journeyswithjonna.com, and see this offer plus many more of in-person and online workshops and other meditations and offerings available for you. So again, thank you for being here, and until the next video.